Forgotten. Chapter 2. When evening came and Lucas returned home, the atmosphere in his home was different. The door closed with a soft slam, but what he found inside was not what he expected. His mother was sitting on the couch, her face drenched in tears. Lucas felt a knot in his stomach as he saw the pain in his mother's eyes. He approached her cautiously. "Mom, are you okay?" he asked in a soft voice, worried. "No, son," she replied, her voice breaking. "I can't stop thinking about your father. I don't want anything to happen to him." The tears continued to fall uncontrollably, and fear and anguish were reflected on her face. Lucas, feeling the weight of his mother's concern, tried to comfort her. "Mom, calm down," she said with a calmness she didn't feel inside. "Dad is a strong man. You'll see that he'll be fine, and he'll come home safe and sound." He tried to give her some hope, although in his heart there was also a shadow of doubt. "Let's go to sleep, Mom," he said tenderly, taking her hand. "Come, I'll take you to bed. You haven't eaten anything. I brought you food. Come, eat." Although she knew that words could not completely ease her mother's pain, she tried to do what she could to give her some comfort. "Mom, you haven't eaten. I brought you something. Come, eat," he insisted, trying to calm her down. "Sleep, Mom. I love you. Tomorrow is another day. Don't let Lily see you like this. Please, Mom, rest." Gently, he helped her up and walked her to the bedroom. He knew he couldn't control what happened, but at least he could be there for her. And right now, that was all that mattered. The relationship between Lucas and Lori continued to grow as the years went by. After a month of conversations, laughter, and shared moments, Lucas began to feel that something stronger was brewing between them. The connection they had formed in those early days had matured, and it felt like they were meant to be together, even though they both knew that the situation in the world and their personal lives were complicated. One warm evening, after an afternoon stroll through the park, Lucas and Lori found themselves sitting on a bench near a small lake. The sun was setting, leaving a golden trail on the horizon. The silence between them was comfortable, a peace that could only be achieved after having shared so many things. Lucas looked at Lori, and without thinking too much, he slowly approached her. On impulse, he gave her a soft kiss on the cheek, a gesture that reflected the respect he felt for her and how much he had come to value her. Lori stood still for a moment, and Lucas began to wonder if he had done wrong by being so bold. Then she turned to him, and with a mischievous smile, she said, "I like that you are respectful, but you can disrespect me now, young man." Lucas, surprised by her words and the way she said them, felt a little taken aback. His heart was beating faster, and for a moment, he didn't know how to react. But what happened next was something neither of them expected. Without thinking, and moved by the impulse of the moment, Lucas stared at her, then closed his eyes and gently kissed her on the lips. The kiss was tender at first, almost as if they were both testing the water, but it soon became deeper, more urgent. The connection they had been building over that month of getting to know each other manifested itself in that gesture. They both knew that something had changed in that instant, that they were crossing a line that could not be undone. When they parted, Lori stared at him, her expression one of surprise and a bit of wonder, but also satisfaction. The air around them seemed to be filled with electricity, and neither Lucas nor Lori knew exactly how their story would continue. But at that moment, they both realized that nothing would ever be the same again. Lucas, with a shy smile, said, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to pressure you. I couldn't help it." Lori responded with a soft laugh, a laugh that Lucas thought was the most beautiful melody he had ever heard. "Don't worry, Lucas," she said, touching his hand affectionately. "Sometimes things are just meant to happen. And this This was a good kiss. The world, for a few seconds, faded away around them. The problems of everyday life, the situation with the war, and the fear they both felt were left behind. At that moment, in that fleeting but intense connection, Lucas and Lori realized that there was something bigger that united them. Something that could not be stopped even by the adversities of the world. After a month, Lucas and Lori's relationship was better established. They had shared long conversations, quiet walks, and a mutual understanding that made Lucas forget the difficulties surrounding him. Despite the uncertainty and anguish of not hearing from his father for a long time, he felt immensely lucky to have met Lori, whom he already considered the love of his life. She inspired him, gave him strength, and a hope he had never experienced before. One night, after a long day of school and work, Lucas came home hoping to see his mother and sister to share his day with them and relax as a family. However, upon entering, something seemed out of place. The house was plunged into an eerie silence, and a strange feeling of worry invaded him. It was then that, as he walked into the living room, he saw his mother collapsed on the floor, unresponsive. With his heart beating frantically, Lucas ran to her, knelt beside her, and called out desperately, "Mom! Mom! What happened to you?" she asked, trying to remain calm, although panic was evident in her voice. His mother slowly opened her eyes and, in a weak tone, replied, "I fainted, son. I feel very weak." Lucas, trying not to lose his calm, caressed her face with tenderness and concern. "Mom, why haven't you eaten? I left you some food ready this morning. You have to take care of yourself," he said softly, although his voice reflected the anguish he felt at seeing her so fragile. After helping her to her feet and making sure she was stable enough, Lucas decided to take her to the doctor so she could be evaluated. After a couple of hours in the waiting room, the doctor confirmed that nothing was serious, but advised her to eat better and rest. Lucas felt temporary relief, although the worry still lingered in his mind. When they got back home, Lucas helped his mother lay down in her room and made sure she was comfortable. He covered her with a blanket, made her a hot cup of tea, and sat next to her, watching her as she tried to sleep. Mom, promise me that you will take care of yourself when I am not here. I can't lose you, okay?" he said in a pleading tone, and his mother responded with a slight smile, nodding as she closed her eyes. Aware of his many responsibilities, Lucas decided that he couldn't leave her alone without any supervision. Before leaving the next day to attend his classes, he spoke to one of his neighbors, Mr. Thompson, a kind old man who had always cared about them. "Mr. Thompson, I know it's a lot to ask, but could you stop by from time to time to check on my mother? Just until she gets back in the afternoons, please. I'm worried about leaving her alone now that she's not feeling well," Lucas said, his face filled with anxiety. The neighbor, moved by the situation, responded with a reassuring smile. "Of course, Lucas. Don't worry, I'll keep an eye on her and come to see her every day while you're away." Lucas deeply appreciated her help and left more relaxed, although his mind was always divided between his studies, his part-time job at a coffee shop at night, and the constant worry about his mother's condition. It wasn't easy, but he knew he had to find a balance to get ahead. Lori, who listened attentively when he talked about his concerns, had become his greatest emotional support. Every time he felt that the weight of his responsibilities was overwhelming him, he remembered her smile and the words of encouragement she always offered him. Amidst the hardships, Lucas's life became more and more complicated, and although he tried to stay strong for his mother and sister, a part of him began to feel the pressure of the burden he carried. But every time he hesitated, he reminded himself that his father had taught him to be brave, to never give up, and he would do everything he could to live up to that legacy, no matter how hard times were.